Well, good morning, friends. This is Crystal here from Homemaking on the Homestead, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to share with you 7 homemaking lessons from the Proverbs 31 woman. There has been so much shared over the years in books and articles and everything else about the Proverbs 31 woman, and she's looked at in all kinds of different ways, different lights. Sometimes it looks like unobtainable goals for a woman, or sometimes it's, just overwhelming to be reading about her and all that she did. And I think, first of all, we need to come from the perspective of the book of Proverbs to begin with. And the book of Proverbs is a book of wisdom. It is a book that is meant to impart wisdom to us. And I don't think that that's any different when we look at the Proverbs 31 woman. She is imparting wisdom, or the verses concerning her are imparting wisdom. These were originally told by the mother of King Lemuel. That is how that chapter begins. We don't really know who King Lemuel was. There is no mention of him as one of the kings, so there has been speculation that he was a king from a different land. There has also been speculation that he was either Hezekiah or maybe Solomon. But we don't know. But we do know that this mother was very wise, and she was imparting to her son the virtues of a godly woman. Mostly what I have always pulled out of Proverbs 31 woman is her character, and all the verses that pertain to her, a godly woman and her character. Just to look at it maybe in a different light, I decided to just read the chapter again and say, okay, well, what homemaking lessons, what practical things can we pull from this chapter, this section, and apply to our lives today? What can I apply to my life today in just basic homemaking lessons? I came up with 7 different lessons and the verses that I felt supported those. And there is probably more, but I felt like 7 was a good number to share with you today. So let's get started on these 7 homemaking lessons from the Proverbs 31 woman. So lesson number 1 is to put God first. And we can see in verse 30, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. We need to make sure that our home is founded on godly principles, and that what we do as we invest time in our home and invest our energy in our home are all things that the Lord would have us and want us to be doing. Number 2 is get up early. Now, I know some of us are night owls and some of us are morning people, but I have always practiced, regardless, getting up early, because there is so much that can be done when we rise early. Verse 15 says, she also rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. So she's taking that early morning time and she's preparing for the rest of her day. She's making sure everybody that is under her roof has food and is prepared for their day. So that leads in perfectly to number 3, prepare and plan. We always need to have a plan for our day and to prepare well for our day. I always take a little bit of time in that early morning to write down my list of things that I need to accomplish that day. What are my goals? What do I need to prepare and plan for? There's also long-term planning. Do I need to make sure that I have things ready for the next season? Do I need to make sure that clothing is in order? Do I need to make sure of anything else that needs to be prepared and planned for? And verse 21 says, she is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. So she's already prepared. She already knows that that cold winter is coming, the snow is coming, and she doesn't need to worry about it because she's prepared and she has planned. Number 4 is to be organized. I think we can simply look at several of the verses in that chapter and see how well organized she was, because you have to be well organized if you are going to accomplish all these other goals and tasks in your home. So the biggest verse that I see applies to this is verse 11. So verse 11 says, "The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain." So he trusts her to run the entire household. He has his job to do, he has his work to do in his part of providing the family, but hers is the entire household and the running of it and the management of it. I think that shows that she has to be a very organized person, and we also need to be very organized in the way that we run and maintain our households. Number 5, don't be idle with your time. It's good to take time off now and then, but in order to run a home and take care of all the things that are involved in that, plus anything that you may have on top of that, whether it's a job or other activities that you may be on top of that, you can't afford to be idle with your time. Verse 13 says, "She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands." Again, she's busy. Verse 27 says, "She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness." It takes time, and we need to always be working in that direction. Number 6 is to put your husband and your family and their well-being first. We don't want to be spending that busy time focused on things that are not going to be benefiting our husband or not going to be benefiting our family. And I go back to verse 11 with that one, and it says, "The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain." He knows that his well-being is being taken care of, and he knows the family's well-being is being taken care of. And number 7, the last one, is she contributes to the family finances. I think that this does not necessarily mean that she goes out and gets a job. It does not necessarily mean that she has her own business. It doesn't, there's a lot of ways that we as homemakers can contribute to the family finances. Verse 14 says, "She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar." I think that this means that she is looking for the best deal. And that is, number one way that we can save money is that we can look for the best deals, whether it's food or clothing. How can we save our budget? How can we work on our budget, save money by finding the best deals? There is also the aspect of simply being frugal. I have done countless videos on the Frugal Homemaker and the benefit of the Frugal Homemaker. I shared some of my own stories of very frugal times that my husband and I went through, and the huge difference it made when I started really examining the ways that we spend our money. And I will leave links below, but being frugal is most definitely a huge way that all homemakers can contribute to their family finances. Verse 24 says, "She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants." So she does have her own little business going, and that is excellent. So there's a lot of side hustles that a homemaker can do to be able to bring in a little bit of extra money. I did an entire video on that, which I can post up here, on ways that a homemaker can bring in extra money. But there are a lot of ways that a homemaker can bring in some extra money. Some of them are simple, some of them are more complex, but regardless, a little home business is an excellent thing to do. I know women that make products and sell them in craft fairs and things like that, and I have done that myself in the past. So there are a lot of ways where you can contribute time and effort to something, turn around and sell it, and bring in a little bit of extra money. Verse 16 says, "She considers a field and buys it. From her profits she plants a vineyard." I don't think that means we all need to go out and be real estate salespeople, but I think, again, it is just showing that she's very wise in the way that she thinks about things and in the ways that she uses the money, and that using that money in a way that will bring a profit will benefit her family and her husband. I think that we can see the wisdom in this aspect of the Proverbs 31 woman is that she places great value on her household and she takes the time to invest in it. So there you go, ladies. Those are my 7 homemaking tips that I pulled out of Proverbs 31, or the Proverbs 31 woman, however you want to look at it. Great tips of wisdom on ways that we can be better homemakers and to improve the life of our home and our husbands in the process. I hope you found today's video to be helpful and encouraging to you. And if you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel, which lately has been growing a lot. So, you know, welcome to all the new subscribers. I really appreciate you all. And if you haven't subscribed and you like my content, would you consider subscribing? It would mean a lot to me. All right, I hope you all have an amazing and blessed day today, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.